Hey there! Today I am going to explain how to set up Rust and Solana for your blockchain development in Windows operating system via Windows Subsystem for Linux, or shortly known as WSL. All the links for resources will be in the description below. What is WSL? The Windows Subsystem for Linux lets developers run a GNU/Linux environment, including most command line tools, utilities, and applications, directly on Windows, unmodified, without the overhead of a traditional virtual machine or dual boot setup. First of all, why can't we install Rust and Solana directly on Windows? We can install Rust and Solana in Windows, but there are several disadvantages. Mainly it's a pain to configure the development environment in Windows itself, and next is most frameworks, libraries and packages of Rust and Solana are not compatible in the Windows environment. Let's get started. Let's take a look at the prerequisites for installing WSL on Windows. Firstly, your Windows version should be 10 or above. You can follow this simple documentation if your Windows 10 build version is 2004 or higher, or Windows 11. You can check your Windows build version by opening the command prompt and typing WinVer. It will show the Windows version on a new window. As you can see, mine is Windows 11 build version 21H2. For lower build version users of Windows 10, you can follow the manual process of installing WSL on Windows on the link here. This process can also be applied for Windows versions above build 2004 or Windows 11. After installing WSL and your Linux distribution, let's check the WSL version of the installed Linux distribution. We can do so by opening up command prompt, and then run the command, wslv. In my case, it shows I have installed Ubuntu Linux distribution and its WSL version is on version 2. If the WSL version of your Linux distribution is in version 1, you should change it to version 2 by running the command wsl set version distribution name version number. Now let's install Rust on our Linux subsystem. You can go to the Rust website on https://www.rustlang.org, and it specifically shows us the command to install Rust on WSL. Copy the command and paste it in your terminal. Note that we are logged into our Linux subsystem. Run the command and it will prompt you to select the installation option. Select option 1, proceed with installation. Now it will download the necessary files and install Rust on your Linux subsystem. In case you face any blue screen errors, make sure your WSL version of the Linux distribution is in version 2. Let's fast forward the installation. Now Rust has been installed in our Linux subsystem. Now it says we have to configure the path environmental variable for the Rust development tools and is kind enough to provide the command in doing so. You can simply copy-paste this command and run it below to add it to the path variable. You can verify your Rust installation by running rust c version on the terminal and it will show the version of Rust you have installed. Now let's install Solana on our Linux subsystem. You can go to the Solana official website on https://solana.com. We can select the developers drop-down on top and click on Getting Started, which will direct you to the developer page of Solana. Now you can click Explore the Docs button and click on Start Building Card. This will direct you to the Solana developer documentation which you can refer for your development needs. Next, we will select Command Line from the side pane and go to Install the Solana Test Suite section. This section contains all the steps to configure Solana on your Linux subsystem. We will scroll over to the Mac OS and Linux section. It has given the command to install the version 1.9.3 of Solana Tool Suite, but in my case, I like to play on the safe side by installing the latest stable version of Solana Test Suite. Simply just replace the v1.9.3 and the command with the word stable. Once you run this command it will prompt whether you want to install it on your system. Simply enter Y and press enter. Let's fast forward the installation. After the installation, just as in Rust, it will tell you to configure the path environmental variable with the command provided to do it. We can copy-paste it and run it there itself. You can verify your Solana installation by running Solana version on the terminal and it will show the version of Solana you have installed. Next, we will need to install a wallet that stores a collection of keys or addresses that can be used to send, receive, and track ownership of cryptocurrencies. We can go into the wallet section in the side panel of Solana documentation and go to the Web Wallet section and then again Web Wallets subsection. Here we can find different types of wallets. You can install any of your choice. It comes as an extension for your browser. I have installed Phantom Wallet and I can access it through the extension bar in my browser. After you set up your Phantom Wallet, you can log into it via the password you set up at the time of Phantom extension installation. From here you can see your current SOL balance, and you can go to the settings section and scroll down and change your network to mainnet, testnet, devnet or localhost. You also can add new wallets, connect existing web or hardware wallets via the hamburger button here. Now I will talk about some basic commands of Solana CLI on the Linux subsystem. As in the previous section I mentioned, there are 4 network types in Solana while configuring the wallet. We can check the current network via Solana CLI by running the command solana config get, and it will output you some information, and the line with RPC URL says in which network you are currently in. We can change the network with a simple command. For example, if you want to change the network to devnet, you can run the command solana config set URL devnet. Now you can see the network has been changed from localhost to devnet. Now we will change it back to localhost by running the command solana config set URL localhost. We will check our wallet address by running the command solana address. If you don't have an address already, it will show an error as below with the command to create a new address. We can copy-paste this command and run it to create a new address. It will require a passphrase to configure the new address. You can see your public key here in the seed phrase, which will be shown only at this instant, so better save it up somewhere in case you wanted to recover your created key pair. Now if we run the previous command solana address, we can see the newly created address. We can get the full details of a particular account by using its address by entering the below command, solana account your address. So now it will show an error because the details of an address are network specific and we are currently in the localhost network and the network is not up and running. Let's open up a new command prompt window and logging to WSL through it as well. Now we will start the local blockchain network within your computer. First, we should move to the root directory of the Linux subsystem or else it will not work. Enter cd on the terminal to go to root directory and then run the command solana test validator to start the local blockchain network. Keep the network running as it is and go to the previous terminal and rerun the previous command to get full details of an account. Now it works and shows all the details regarding the given address. It shows the owner and the balance of SOL in that account in the local network. In case we ran out of SOL in our account, we can add more SOL. This is only applicable when in the local host only. This is known as airdropping. Now let's airdrop 100 SOL to our account by running the command solana airdrop 100. Now we can run the previous command to view account details, or if you only want to view the SOL balance, you can run solana balance your address. Now your SOL balance should be increased by 100. In case you are trying to airdrop you devnet or testnet addresses, you can go to SOL faucets like https://solfaucet.com/ and provide your Solana account address and airdrop SOL into your devnet or testnet accounts. You will need to change network in Solana CLI to check the relevant balances, or you can check via the web wallet you installed. Let's create a simple Hello World project. You can find these commands in the Rust CLI documentation on the link below. We can use the command cargo new project name to create a new Rust project. Make sure you create the project in a directory where you can easily locate. In my case, I have created it in my desktop. You can open this project normally with a code editor of your choice. In my case, I will open the project using VS Code. Once you open it, you can see src folder in which it contains the main.rs file, which has a simple function written to print Hello World on the console. Next, we have the cargo.tama file, which contains the metadata, dependencies, libraries of our project. We can also log into WSL via the editor's terminal by simply typing WSL on it. We can run this project via WSL by running cargo run. It will print Hello World on the terminal. That's it for today, folks. We have discussed about setting up Rust and Solana for development in Windows via WSL and created a project and ran it. Thank you for watching this tutorial.